Well, now, I have just been watching a YouTuber. He doesn't have a lot of views anyway. He has some views. It's what he was talking about was what I'm getting into. He was talking about how the player base for Once Human is dropping, and I just checked the Steam numbers, and it appears as though the game's popularity is declining. I don't know if that's because a couple new games came out and people are switching over to it, or whatever's happening is happening. But he's trying to address some of the issues that the game has. There's some issues complaining about lag, some issues about the mod drops and how it's gambling. I don't agree with that concept. It's RNG. It's not really gambling. You know, it's a system that's put in place to have a random drop rate, and it's not a gamble. You can find the mods. Let me just say it really clearly. Anybody who can't find the mods for their weapons or their armor that need them, you're not going into the silos, or you're not looking up where they're at, or you're hunting somewhere differently. If you need a mod and you got to run a silo 30 times, then so be it. 30 times. Run it. Get your mod. Then you'll be happy. Right? But if you're only going in, checking it one time, and then you're coming out saying, oh my god, I didn't get a mod now, it's so bad, then you're not. I mean, what are you doing then? Like, none of that even makes any sense. That's not even how you go and get your mods. People know you got to hunt for mods. It's no different than any other game that's ever been out there about how you go about getting things. They're adjusting drop rates all the time. They're trying to balance the game out all the time. Anybody sitting here complaining about it, I don't know what you're doing. I really don't. I mean, you could go through all my past streams. There's been streams where I've had to hunt, almost 30 times in X1 silo to get a mod that I needed. Excuse me. But I did it. And I got the mod. And I'm happy. And it was this fucking character. No, not this character. But my other character. That's on this. That plays with this, on the same server. So if you're not going out and doing it, I don't know what to tell you. Something's wrong. And it's not with them. It's with you. You're not doing it enough. You're just not grinding out what you need to grind out to get your mod. Yeah. I mean, I got like one shiny this entire time doing this stupid shit that I'm doing, right? But I'm not really grinding for any deviants. I get a deviant that I want. I don't even look and see what its stats are. I don't care if it's a 1-1 or a 5-1. I gotta be honest with you. I don't care. I don't care. If I pick up a 5, I'm going to use it. But if I don't, I don't care. I can still play the game perfectly fine without that. Irregardless, I think the guy is wrong for saying what he's trying to say. But the numbers are dropping. They are. And Once Human has to be fine. This is on Steam only. I don't know what their client is doing. I don't know how their numbers look over in the Asian market. They probably got better numbers over there. They might have even better European numbers. But North American numbers, they're dropping. And that's a shame. There's something that's making people leave the game. And I think for the most part, it's grinding the same stuff repeatedly over and over again. Looking at the same buildings over and over and over again. Doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, right? They have some mob. Not all mobs are the same. So they have that mix. Not all buildings look the same, but they do reuse a lot of the assets over and over again. But they were trying to get the game out too. So I have noticed that they have improved some things. They have added some more junk around and make it look more believable, like it's an apocalyptic world and things like that. What really hurts this game, and I personally think what really hurts this game is that it has a very weak storyline to it. It is. It's a very weak storyline. Like, you find out a little bit here and there. You can search around for stuff and read everything if you want to. That's fine. But most people don't do that in a video game. Some people do. Most people don't. You know, you got lore experts in the game who will rip up every nook and cranny that they can to find out the lore of the world. But the lore is convoluted. It's mixed up. It's mixed together. It's weird. It jumps from one thing to another depending on where you're at. And there's no real guidance through the storyline. Like, there really isn't. The voice acting is very minimal, and they need to improve that. They need to improve some of the animations with the voice acting. You know, utilize a cutscene, right? Not just a conversation cutscene, but a true cutscene that you can control where they're talking. Or do something like Guild Wars does, where they pop the two characters up and they're talking and their mouths are moving to the words. They're actually talking. But it's a two-dimensional kind of like cutscene. Just, it's like an overlay that pops up, and you get to see some of the mix of the... I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to throw out anything at this point because their storyline is really painfully boring. It's boring. And that's the thing that's killing a lot of this game. Like, people rush through. They don't even pay attention. They just skip all dialogue. If you're skipping all dialogue the whole entire time, then you don't have anything worth people wasting their time watching. I mean, nothing for nothing, WoW had some of the best cutscenes I've ever seen in any single game. And then Diablo, another thing. Blizzard was, if nothing else, Blizzard is the king of cutscenes, right? They are, without a doubt. Their cutscenes are some of the most cinematic versions of cutscenes that I've ever seen. You know, Diablo, WoW, and you know, what is it, like Warhammer Online, things like that. Like, they're all very good. They do great with their animations and their cutscenes. And when people are speaking, it looks like they're talking in these cutscenes. In ours, it doesn't. Unfortunately, it looks like it's slowed down, and the movements are slow, and they're not really complicated, and there's no engagement, and it's just, you know, I don't know. But if people are leaving, it's because they're getting bored. They're getting bored. The phases are taking too long for some people. That's what the problem is. I say screw your phases. Open up the map right from day one. Let people do everything from day one. I understand why you're doing the phases. I don't have a problem with them myself. But if you're going to lose people because they're tired of waiting for a phase to open up, you might want to rethink your phases then. There has to be a way. Or let us have the private servers like you promised, so we can play the game our way, basically. Give us the private servers. You know? I know people who will play this. If I was the only person on in a server, I wouldn't even care. Doesn't bother me. I have been in the betas where I literally saw one person the entire time I was playing. One person. The entire time I was playing, except for the very first couple days. After that, the servers died down so fast. People were leaving. I told you, you have a fall off of player base between the 4th and 6th weeks. That's immense. Even for phase 2, you have people that stop playing until the new phase comes out. So you have players not playing during that time, so your numbers drop. But if other people are noticing this stuff, then, you know, we gotta do something about it. Because if we're bleeding player base now, you know, which we are, that's going to be an issue, and it's going to be a serious issue at some point. And I personally don't want it to be an issue. I want us to be able to get to where we need to go. And then for some reason, you guys, apparently the devs, whatever it is, the signups for that multi or Primiverse or whatever it is, are Primiverse. They're messed up real bad. The signups are lots of problems with the signups. So I don't know what's going to happen to the game. You know, if they bombed on that, I have fears for October. I do. The release of the October stuff. I really fear how this is going to work for us. If they bombed on the friggin' Primeverse or whatever it is, that release, they're going to bomb. They may bomb. Well, they may bomb on the PvE side. And excuse me. I just don't know how that's going to play out in the long run. I mean, I love the game. I like the fact that I can go around shooting shit. But maybe mob density is an issue. Maybe the fact that, like, how hard it is to get acid sometimes is an issue. Or maybe there's, like, other things that you can do in order to spice up the gameplay. I mean, I really don't know. I don't have any suggestions at this point. I like it, but I mean, I've played so many characters now that I'm kind of like bored with your content. As far as, like, I really have to go back down here into the newbie area and gather shit and, like, do the questing and hopefully get more decor and all. And I know I got to do this, but I'm just like, I'm dreading it because I'm so, I'm so strong for this stuff. It's just going to be boring to run through. Like I said, I need to do it anyway, so I'm actually going to be doing it right now. Where is the strange house, though? I know this is going to kill me to do, but I don't want to not do it. I don't want to miss the possibility of getting some of the decor, and that's probably my biggest focus. Like, that's why I go back and do the things that I do, because I just don't want to miss. I don't want to miss anything. But I hate wasting ammo, and this is what's going to happen. I'll be over here wasting ammo. I wish there was an easier way for me to switch my weapons than having to go in there and manually do it. There are some things, like when we want to switch ammo types, we should be able to switch ammo types from a scroll wheel, not have to actually go into the gun. I think when new players come in, they love the game, but at some point there's a fall off. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I love the game, so I come and play it every day, but there is some boredom to the game. There is some repetitiveness to the game, and maybe it's seeing the same environments. Like, this market is everywhere, so and your loot drops are standard, so they're always in the same place for the most part. So you can run into these and know exactly what the layout is. There's no real variety in a lot of these buildings. Like, this is everywhere, that is everywhere. So there's this level of boredom. There's a level of boredom that the people get into. They get into this repetitive rut, and they're like, I don't really feel like playing, because there's nothing catching their eye. There's nothing new. Now, when he came out with the shinies the first day, how many people were on after that update where he came out with all that stuff? There was a ton of people on. But it was something new and flashy. And you killed it. I'll tell you how you killed it. You killed it because you made it too easy for people to get deviants. You literally killed that. If you dumb down a game too much, you're killing your game. You made it way too easy. And now the shiny deviants are heavily overpopulated on the servers. Like, just about everybody got them. Or at least one. So there's no longevity to that. It's done. People aren't even hunting for them that I know of anymore. Like, you know, one guy was like, "Oh, I got like 20 shinies. Anybody want one?" He's like giving them away. They should be rare drops. Not what you guys did. Jesus. I don't know. I see if this is going to be a trend, and we've lost a significant part of our player base from when the game began to now. If this is going to be the downward trend, how is this game going to survive? Your fucking gambling crates, those loot boxes, I mean, that was the worst decision you guys ever made. You're like, oh no, this and that. But it's just a gambling mechanic. You know it's a gambling mechanic. And it's so bad. It's so bad. And you know the stats on that. Somebody sees somebody with the brand new shiny stuff and, you know, the new this, the new that. And they want it too. So then, you know, they go tap mommy's credit card. And, you know, a month later, mommy gets the bill. And mommy don't let that kid play the game anymore. But you made your money. So for you, you don't give a shit. Like, let's be honest. You don't care. You don't care. You made your money. Yeah. Whether or not some kid's getting his ass beat right now for tapping mommy's credit card doesn't concern you at all. Zero. That's a fucked up practice. I ain't gonna sugarcoat that any other way. And people can turn around and talk about fucking personal responsibility all they want to. But when you're dealing with kids, there's no personal responsibility with a kid. Kids see you have something that they, you know, oh my God, look at that. And then they want it. Personal responsibility. Kiss my ass with that shit. Anybody got anything to say about that, you're an idiot to begin with. You know what I mean? Your opinion really don't matter at that point because you don't understand kid psychology at all. And you forget when you were a kid and you wanted something. You know? If your mom's credit card would have been laying around and you could have got a hold of it, you know, you would have. You would have. And that would have been that. So, personal responsibility for adults, yes, because they should know better. But for kids, nah. And a lot of kids play this game. And so you can't put a mechanic like that in a game for a kid. I mean, how many? Okay, anybody who's a parent out there who has attached their credit card to their kid's Xbox or their PlayStation has had to deal with purchases that you didn't know were being made because you attached your credit card, and that's what the networks like PSN likes to do and Xbox likes to do. They want you to attach your credit card. So then your kid sees a movie they want to watch, or they see an outfit in Fortnite they want to get, and they just go and click on it. And then it says buy. Like, you know how hard it is for a kid not to push that button then at that point to buy? Seriously, it's a kid. They act on emotion. They don't think about the consequences until it happens. Oh, miss. Swing and a miss. Anyway. You created a bad mechanic in the game, and there are people who will buy it, and I've seen it already. Like the YouTubers who got their people subscribing. You know what? The same people that are subscribing to them, they don't have that. They don't have those items. They don't got the cash to put out for that. But the money they're giving you, and then you buy that shit with their cash? Jesus. I mean, if you're not... And then people think you're rich. You're not actually rich. You're living off of your viewers. Playing a video. I don't get that shit. But I think it's wrong if you take that money and then you're buying all the skins and you're showing off all the skins and it's not your money paying for it. You know, because then you could. Not only that, but then your viewers are like, "Oh, I want this, I want that," and then they're gonna go and spend money on it. It's just dumb, man. It's just dumb. Dumb mechanic. Take that shit out the game. If you got skins, just fucking sell them. You got skins you sell for $30. $30. You know, you can't just sell the skin instead of trying to do that loot box bullshit. You know what it is. So I'm telling you, I don't want to hear shit about it. Like, I don't want anybody fucking say anything to me about it. They know what that does. That's why China tried to ban that shit. They tried to ban that from even happening. They literally were banning loot boxes and they were banning, what was it? There was something else they were banning. But I know the main thing was loot boxes. They were going to ban. China knows what that caused, the problem that it causes. The guy who wanted to ban it knew. The gaming companies basically fucking lost their mind, and the government didn't want to suffer a loss, so they knew what was happening. Come on, get out, get out, get out! Damn cat. Anyway. And the government knew what was happening. They knew they were going to take heat for it. So they're like, okay, we don't want to do this right now because we're going to take heat for it. All right, give me a second. I got to handle something. Show you, Tom. Show me. Boom, 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 boom. I'm back. Headset. Let's go. Alright. So anyway, like I was saying, don't sit there and think that the loot boxes aren't gambling. Don't sit here and try and tell me. I have arguments with people about this stupid shit, and they still don't get it. And it doesn't matter how well I explain it. Some people are just so ignorant that they're not willing to admit when they're wrong. Those loot boxes are strictly gambling. They know people are going to spend money, and they know people are going to spend money that they don't have on them. It's a very real thing that happens in gaming. You can look anywhere on YouTube or, well, Google, find a whole bunch of studies on exactly what loot boxes do to people and how it affects people. And you can see it does the same thing as slot machines, does the same thing as gambling. It's the same concept. right? But we already know. Why is there a Gamblers Anonymous? Because people have been in debt and lost their homes, lost their entire family for gambling habits. And you're bringing a gambling mechanic into the game. And we're losing our player base. We are literally losing our player base now. Now you tell me that one. Why are we losing our player base? When a game crashes, man, you know what? I'm going to be very disappointed because I love this fucking game. But you know what? It doesn't matter how much I love the game. I can't hold the game together if it's falling apart like that. I can't do anything to stop that. Yeah. I'm doing my part every single day, talking about the game, trying to get people interested in the game, talking about how great I think the game is and all this other stuff. But I will never promote your loot boxes. I will never say, hey, go out and buy these things, because go out and buy the cosmetics. I'll tell you that all day long, because you actually get something for the money. When I pay for something, I want something for it. I don't want to pay for something and have the possibility of getting something. It baffles my mind that people actually think that's a good mechanic, to pay for something in the hopes that you might get it. Maybe. Nah, you ain't getting shit. So if that's what you're going to be doing, if that's the way the game's going to be going, I already know people that don't like that mechanic. I already know people talk about that mechanic in game, and you know, it makes people. You're just breeding jealousy too on top of that, because people then are jealous of other people who can actually get those, you know, get that new shiny. I'm not, because I could buy my own. I could buy those packs. I could buy all the loot boxes until I get what I get. I have enough money for that. But does it really... Do I want... No, I don't want to, because I want to get something for what I pay. You know, if you're going to offer a $30 skin, I may not think it's really a $30 skin, but if I like it and I want to buy it, guess what? I'm going to pay the $30. Right? But I'm getting a skin for that $30. I'm getting something that I can use on my character right away without having to sit there and hope that I get it. I'm never going to agree with the company on that. Never. And I don't think that's the devs. I don't think that's the devs at all. I think that they're being pushed into that by the publisher. But again, the publisher paid. The publisher invested in the company. They gave them money to help develop the game. They want their money back, and they want their profit. They're not doing it for free. So I can't hate them for that either. I'm never going to agree with a company who does that. Like, I'm never going to say it's okay. It's not okay. I can understand it. Doesn't mean it's okay. You know? I understand why we use or why we have nuclear weapons, but I don't think it's okay. Just when I saw that guy's video and he's talking about declining numbers, I went and checked right away, and he wasn't lying. I thought he was talking shit. I had to be honest with you. I thought he was talking shit, but he's not talking shit. There's declining. I mean, it's not even a little decline. It's a massive decline in numbers from when the game was released. So there's an absolute decline. Now all games generally do that after a game is very anticipated, and then they release. Most games have dismal numbers over the next couple months if the game isn't. I don't know a lot of games that maintain their popularity for long periods of time after, some of the hype dies down. You still have an active player base, but I mean, you're talking about 100 and some odd thousand players every day, and then a peak of like 200 something down to 40,000 that are on right now, 40 some thousand that are on right now at a peak of 100 and some odd thousand. It's a rapid decline. But it's also like the monthly or the chart over the course of its lifestyle shows a decline. Again, it's nighttime, so people aren't going to be playing. Having 100 some odd thousand on at the peak, which is prime time or whatever, to that population falling off it. People got to go to work. People got to go to sleep. Not going to be on. But there is a significant drop off in numbers. So I feel for them, because I don't know. Again, this Primiverse or Primiverse, the PvP thing, there's a massive there's massive complaints going on right now about the sign-up process, how the sign-ups have worked, and how bad it is. So, I mean, the company, it's trial and error too. It's something new. I'm trying to give them I really am trying to give them all the benefit of the doubt. Like, there was guys in chat today that were talking about, hunting decor and how hard it is and some things like that, like, or trying to put on a roof and they can't put on a roof, or some of the patterns don't go with some of the roof pieces because they don't, you can't print them, can't use the prints for them. That's a legitimate complaint. People like building the game. They invested time in promoting the building in this game. It's a large part of the game. So you need to fix it. I mean, I thought they were like way too harsh for a game that's free, but you guys created that monster because you promoted it. And I'll still play, but there's days that I log on and I struggle to continue to play sometimes. I'm like, ugh, not this again. Literally, that's exactly what I say in my head. Not this again. And this is boring. They're talking to each other, but I gotta read it, right? Just let them voice act it. Come on. Some voice actors, man. Dip into the community. There's some people in here. Probably have some great ass voices. Can do the voice acting part. Immortalize them in a video game. Heard you. I just want the game to do well, and it's not going to do well if people are leaving it. Again, I've invested some money into the game, you know, so I'm not NetEase, but and I didn't put in millions of dollars into the game like they did, or hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever. But I put in several $100s in this fucking game already. I'd like to see a little return on my money too. Guys are really good at listening to feedback, really good at trying to pay attention to what your player base is saying. I think it was a little too much. The deviant thing, that's something that was just such a bad fucking idea, man. That deviant shit. Ugh. You literally had deviants dropping, shiny deviants dropping at a higher rate than normal deviants in some instances. Like, that was insane. That's just bad, man. Bad. There's no value to them anymore. I mean, I didn't care about the deviants to begin with. I never went out and farmed deviants, not once, since I've been playing this game. I would go out and, get the deviant, and then I would go on. I would never try and farm 5 stars. Or tier 5 deviants. It's just like they do the same shit. Just one does it a little bit more frequently then. Like it really wasn't a big deal. See, and I'll give you another example. This quest right here. I know someone thought about this quest that I'm going to. And I know they thought, hey, I can get them to explore these other areas, which are less explored, I guess, by having them go to these. But this quest, no one likes this quest. Just going to let you know. Nobody likes this quest. I have never talked to someone and go, you know what one of my favorite quests are? And they say, this fucking quest. Because nobody thinks it's a good quest. You're having us run all over the place. In opposite corners. It's a boring quest with shitty rewards at the end of it. So many people skip this quest because of that. Or they just grind through it and then they're miserable the rest of the day. It's like, oh man, I had to do that quest. Holy shit. Sketch of an inspection point. Yeah, that stupid quest. Whew, man. I dread this quest, but I'm going to do it anyway. What? Go. Nope, didn't hurt myself enough, I don't think. Let's see. Where am I at here? Here we are. Outside, outside. I'm not too sure these guys actually played on PvP. The way they're talking, I don't think they did. I mean, if they're screaming for a PvP server, right? Just the way they're talking about it, I just don't think they've played a lot of PvP. PvP is no different than PvE, except for you have PvP areas in which you can PvE or PvP. Like you can PvE perfectly in the same, like a PvP server. There's no difference. It's not PvP everywhere. I think they're missing that. But I wouldn't be surprised because that's what usually happens. Nah, I'm not gonna teleport. These two seem like trolls. This don't even make no damn sense. Don't really need that. Huh. Swing and a miss. Let's try it 5 times before it opens. How's that? Yeah, don't lag. Don't lag at all. Ooh. uh, I should have been better with that. Damn, Andy. God damn it. Alright, I'm gonna end the stream right now. I gotta get some sleep, get up early tomorrow, and do some work around the house. But I appreciate anybody who tapped in with me today. You have a good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time zone you're living in. And again, I appreciate you all for stopping by. Thank you. Have a good night.